this is Casey with VanTripping.com. Today, I am going to talk about my first van, something I haven't talked about or presented videos on yet in my various different 60 previous YouTube videos that I posted. And I'm going to talk about that today and also why I switched from that after it had actually changed my life for a very positive way. And I will talk about why I switched over to a longer wheelbase, four-wheel drive, taller Sprinter van from this short wheelbase, short height, two-wheel drive Sprinter van. And so let's get into it. Let's go ahead and talk about what made this first van so great, how come it changed my life, and let's talk a little more about it and what were the real positives and also some of the things I didn't like about it and how that has led me now to the next van or the current van that I have. And so let's get into it. Looking forward to sharing more with you. And if you'd like to learn a lot more about my current van and the camper version that I've completed with a lifting bed, a full kitchen, 3 different ways to heat it, a large refrigerator, a big bike garage, and many other things, you can certainly go ahead and subscribe. And you can see a lot of my videos there and more also about this journey and the different upgrades that I've made, as well as more to come that I am only going to allude to at this time. So looking forward to sharing more with you. My first van was a 2007 Mercedes Sprinter, two-wheel drive, the regular low top and 144-inch wheelbase, so the shorter one. It had about 81,000 miles on it, a few small leaks that I had fixed out, a bit worn on the exterior, but it was a very good value and was previously owned by another mountain bike racer that I purchased it from used. It had an interior that was built out by Specialities, and also with a small fridge, no water system, a small butane stove, a few cabinetry in blue, very much like my new van, which kind of led to that, if you can now see that theme, and also a penthouse top installed by Sportsmobile by the previous owner. So I'm going to talk about some of the pros and cons of this and a bit of the experience. So on the 8-hour drive home, my buddy and I, who drove it there to buy it with me, we stopped on this beautiful lookout and immediately started enjoying van life. And one of the things that we stopped to buy some food on the way home and including a bottle of champagne to celebrate. It so happened the only bottle of champagne that we could find that was already pre-chilled was from a brand called Cupcake. And so hence the name of this van became Cupcake, and partly because it had kind of a little muffin top with its penthouse top. One of the great things about this van is it already supported mountain bikes and holding mountain bikes both inside and outside, which supported both my mountain biking, racing, and riding habit, which I went and did a lot of. I went on to do many races, including a couple of Downeyville wins, a couple national mountain bike national championships, include both times on the podium and a win there. A lot of other races over the years. And by having this van, it could really support not only keeping the bikes inside and clean out of the weather, but in arriving clean, but also getting changed inside and then cleaned up inside, having a fridge for food and everything inside, or post-ride beverages and snacks, popsicles, all those things. It was really wonderful. It really opened me up to van life and all the great things it can offer, including throwing kayaks on the roof and taking them out and then enjoying a nice little cocktail, wine happy hour after the kayaking. And I went ahead and put on about another 20,000 miles on this van and got a lot of amazing adventures and use and really fell in love with van life, but also realized that this van needed some upgrades. So let's get into those. One of the big limitations with this van is it really didn't have an electrical system. It had a 120 volt outlet that could be connected once it was connected to shore power and provide power. And it had a pretty limited battery system. It had no solar. So I immediately got about, and some lead acid batteries that were underneath and mounted underneath the van. So I went ahead and went about installing an inverter, an electrical box, a whole electrical system with 120 volt outlets throughout the van in a few different places, and built out a little electrical box to support all that. That was fantastic. Now I could work from the road. I could recharge the batteries with solar, so I didn't have to be driving it. I could be parked for a little while and get them recharged. There's a whole lot of there was a lot of wiring and a little custom box that I made out of wood to support the electrical system that was in there. And that was one of the big upgrades that I made to this van, and also it really dramatically improved its functionality and usability. I also added these blocks to raise the seats up as the seats were a bit low for my height, and all that really helped. I came up with a pretty I would say, somewhat ingenious way of mounting the solar panels to the roof, the two solar panels, so that they could be removed, but yet they were adhered, the mounts were adhered onto this penthouse, fiberglass penthouse roof. So there was no penetrations through the fiberglass penthouse roof. I removed a couple of the bolts in the front that Sportsmobile installs when they mount the penthouse top. And they were a little bit rusted, and so clearly some leaking, a little bit of leakage through there. So I replaced those bolts with some good stainless steel bolts, sealed them up, and bolted the front mounts to that, and then adhered the rear ones onto the roof with a very strong adhesive, and got those solar panels on, and all of that gave me a great solar system and a really nice improvement to the overall vehicle. I also made a few other upgrades that included improving the stereo system. The factory Mercedes Sprinter stereo system is known to be pretty pathetic, and so I improved that. I added some monitoring, and then I also realized that there was quite a bit of noise and cold air and stuff like that came through one of the back wall panels. And also I didn't really like the cabinetry that was there at that time. When people sat in the gaucho flip over bed, they would bang their head on this overhead cabinet in the rear of it when the van would slow down or speed up. And also that gaucho bed was a bit of a pain to sleep in, because when it's down, you can't do anything else in the van. You got to wait till it goes up, and it's difficult to get up, especially with two people. Have to kind of like maneuver out of the way and out of bed to fold this up. But nonetheless, I decided I'm going to modify this rear cabinet and just give it a try. So let's go into that now. Well, with all things comes a plan, and so I created a plan to figure out what I wanted. I built a haphazard little temporary cabinet just to test it out and see how it worked. And it worked fine, and it got many good use over the next year or two before I decided that it was time to make an upgrade. And so why did I go and make an upgrade? This van was great. It exposed me to van life. It carried bikes. It allowed me to camp out. But here's what I didn't like. One, while the penthouse top seems kind of romantic, and it can be when you're in a nice, quiet, comfortable temperature space, however, it's a tent, and so it lets in all outside noise and temperature. And of course, you can put a heater in the inside, but then a heater's running pretty much all night long. And when you're camping in pretty cold environments, yes, it is cold inside the van. There's no way around that. It becomes a tent with the top up. And so I didn't like that. It didn't have four-wheel drive, and I did get stuck a couple of times in the snow. I live in a snowy region. I do go skiing and things like that. And it also limited my ability to go and explore back roads and things without having two-wheel drive. So those were some of the things I didn't like about it, and I wanted to upgrade. So with that and many other reasons to make a change, I decided to go ahead and sell this van and go ahead and purchase a brand new 2016 Mercedes Sprinter with a 170-inch wheelbase, the middle length wheelbase or length van, to give me more space for more bikes, a permanent bed that would always be set up, so I didn't have to go and set it up, which was going to be a big improvement. So certainly a van to be much better insulated than the van that I had. And it would also have a really good heating system, a water system, which was really integral to washing your hands, your face, brushing your teeth at night, even taking an occasional shower. Having a much better stove than the small butane stove that was in this one, and always have to worry about running out of butane and not really producing a lot of heat. Those were some really significant things I wanted to do. I also wanted to really be able to fit bikes in fairly easily without taking the front wheel off. I certainly wanted to make sure that it was tall enough that I could stand up inside and stop bumping my head every time I exited the slider door, which is pretty short in these shorter height vans. And I wanted a much better electrical system and a bunch of other things as well. So those are some of the things that improvements I wanted to be made. So with that, I went and purchased this brand new van, took delivery actually right at the last day of 2016, and started to immediately proceed to cut some massively big holes to install windows and roof fan in it. And so in my future videos, I'm going to go through the various different upgrades on what I did as far as insulation, installing windows, the electrical system, the cabinetry, why I chose to go with aluminum framed and plastic skinned cabinetry and things like that were all based on experiences learned from years of using my previous van this van here, Cupcake, which was great, but now I'm ready to move on and do something better. So I look forward to sharing more of that to you in my future videos about this van build out that I've been doing or have done over the last few years and have been using extensively also over the last several years. I look forward to sharing more with you. Please do subscribe, and I look forward to sharing more, and certainly let me know if you like these videos and if you have any comments on topics and things you'd like to learn more about. I look forward to sharing those with you.